presentations live at lunches and getting people to want to buy or want to become patients of his.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I mean, I can think of so many practitioners, doctors, dentists, whomever in that medical environment who wouldn't get up on stage and talk for anything in the world. And not only that, would never even consider doing a lunch and learn. So it's interesting that he's been able to do that. And with the medical environment the way it is today, I would think that they really need to do everything they can to start bringing in revenue. So that's very, very important. But there are several other things, Dustin, that you do besides just writing this book. Give them an idea of what Speaking Empire is all about, because you talk to people about how to put packages together, how to write books, how to, get on and speak. And there are a lot of people who come to you who not only want to be professional speakers, but also just want to get up and do a better presentation wherever they are, or even feel comfortable in environments that they go into.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate the opportunity to do so. So, as I mentioned earlier, I was afraid to get up in front and share my message with others. And it's my belief that...
I think your story about cutting class, you've got to tell that story about cutting class, because that is just a hoot. That is really a hoot.
All right, so I'm happy to squeeze this one in. This is fun. So I was at Florida State University, and in order to graduate, make the parents happy, and also, I wanted to progress in life, I had to take public speaking. Everyone did. And so I remember signing up for this class one day, and I go in, and it's one of those theaters. And so the seats cascade, and there's a stage, and there's a spotlight, and there's 300 other students in there, and everyone's like talking before the professor comes out. And so he comes out on the stage, and he does his pitch, and he says, listen, welcome to public speaking. You're going to have to do 10 presentations. 3 are going to be in front of this whole group, and 7 are going to be in smaller groups. Now, immediately when he says this, I start looking around like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? And so I would like to say that I stayed there and I conquered that fear, but I didn't. I actually bailed. And my mindset said, maybe I can find a smaller class, which is funny because if you want to speak in front of people, ideally you want as many interested people in front of you as possible, your target market. And so back in that day, I didn't want to speak in front of anybody. And so I signed up again for the class, and I find myself in that same part of campus. And I find myself heading to that same room, and lo and behold, it's the same setup. 300, it's the same pitch, 10 talks. And so I bailed again. And Dr. Gale, I'd like to say that I conquered that fear, but I became so motivated to not take this class. I think I actually did more work than actually having to sit through and just do the class. And so I talked to student aides, I talked to students, I read the student handbook, and no one reads the student handbook. And so I found a legal loophole. And it had happened earlier in my life. I was at school, and I was chasing a girl. All the best stories, right, have that in it. And it was true. I was chasing a girl, and I took this class called Model United Nations. And lo and behold, I had to get up in front of 100 people and share and talk about what the United Kingdom believed about policy. And it was public speaking. And it's funny because I must have been so blinded by chasing the girl that I didn't realize what I was doing. And so I basically got my teacher to write me a note, turn that into the school, and I didn't have to take public speaking in college. And now I run.
I just love that. When I went to school, I did go to a communication school. I went to Emerson College in Boston, and I had to take what was the equivalent of 17 public appearances a week. And it either you shaped up or shipped out. And I had D's my first semester, and I thought, wow, this is not the way to graduate. So I called my grandmother, who bought me a reel-to-reel tape recorder in those days, and I practiced 3 hours a night to be able to speak, because I was with the creme de la creme, and I graduated with straight A's, but it was a long trip between that and the what I started out doing. So tell us now more about Speaking Empire.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my mission, as you mentioned earlier in the beginning, my mission is really to help those people that either have fear, or maybe you've conquered that, or maybe have it a little bit, and you know that you want to get out and share a message, or you have an idea and you want to share it with others. And so the work that I get to do at Speaking Empire, and I say get to do because it's really fun and fascinating, is helping entrepreneurs and business owners and people that have ideas get out their message to the world. And that may be public speaking in front of a live audience, but nowadays we do webinars and we do Facebook Live and we do, this video media. And so we work with people one-on-one and in group settings to really find their message, put it into a presentation and really monetize it, because it's one thing to have a great message, but if you don't have a way to generate money from it, it's very hard to keep perpetuating that message. And so that's really what we do at Speaking Empire, is show people how to do that, whether they have an idea or a business or they want to get patients or they want to get clients. That's what we're up to in the world here.
Well, all of that sounds absolutely fantastic, and I can tell you folks who are listening, they do a terrific job at this. It's absolutely wonderful. So what else in this book of yours, Becoming a Fearless Presenter, the No BS Guide to Powerful Presentations, what else in there do you think would be of interest to our listeners?
Well, I would like to let people know that as I mentioned earlier, everything in life is a presentation. And so one of the examples I like to talk about is Disney World. And you say, Disney World or Disneyland, like, what does that have to do with presentations? And of course, I'm not talking slides. I'm talking about when you go to the ticket window, before you get to the window, you're snaked through these long, winding lines that seem to move, but very slowly. And sometimes they do stop. And then once you get past that, you get on the boat, especially if you're here in Orlando, you get in the boat and you go over the river, or you go over the lake, I should say, and you see the Magic Kingdom. You build the anticipation. Then you get up to the security. You're in another line, but you can see Mickey in the background. You can hear the music going. And so when you start to think of like everything in life as a presentation, then when you see that, then you say, well, gosh, what do I need to communicate to get that person to do something? And I don't mean that in a unethical or a sleazy way, but I mean, what is it that person needs to hear? What value needs to be delivered to them to get them to act, to get them to do something with their life or with their business or with their family? And so the big lesson I want people to think about is everything in life is a presentation, and how are you showing up?
That is a great analogy. That is really important, folks, to listen to that. How are you doing anything is how you show up, and it is a presentation. That is so true. So now, where can people go to get your book?
Oh, I appreciate it. The big thing that I've done is made this easy. So you can get it on Amazon, you can get it in Barnes & Noble, you can get it all there. It's available there. But if you would go to nobspresentations.com, you'll find all the links there. And the reason why I send you there is because there's other resources. So for those of you that need to give a speech, or you're selling something, or you've got a big presentation coming up, I want you to go there because there's resources that are going to make your life a whole lot easier. Videos and templates and things to really implement the powerful ideas that are inside the book.
Okay. So again, let's give it one more time. Let's give the website
Absolutely.
one more time.
It's nobspresentations.com, nobspresentations.com. And if you're interested in the work that we're up to at Speaking Empire, check out speakingempire.com.
That's fantastic. That is great. Well, I'll tell you something. We have about 2 minutes left, and I want to make sure that we get everything in that you want to say. So what have you not told our audience that you would like to say?
Well, there's two things. One's controversial, and then I'll wrap up with something really good. Number one is our president. And so whether or not you like our president that's in office now, I think about him as somebody that has leveraged presentations. And you may not like him, you may love him, wherever you stand, but you have to admire that he has leveraged presentations. He has leveraged media to deliver a message that got him elected. And so you want to take a look at, obviously there's things that you want to discard, I suspect, but there are things that he did that you can be doing to influence. You don't have to rule by the iron fist, but you ought to appreciate some of the things, how he leveraged media, social media, how he gave a presentation and got people to rally around a message. And so you can take a look at any president in history and learn something from him. I think the second thing that I would like to share is whatever your goal is in life, I'm happy if it's a presentation, but it could be easily about health. It could be, spend some more time with your family, whatever it is. You're a student of life. And so what I would say is whatever goal you want to accomplish, I want you to take one small action a day. And I'll define that. A small action is like go on Google and research, or go to a seminar, or pick up the phone and call that friend that you haven't called. But if you will do one small action towards your goal, what will happen is you'll have done over the course of a year 365 actions to arrive at your goal. And oftentimes, because you just chunk it out and do one thing a day, you're going to arrive there a whole lot faster because of this idea of momentum. And so I want to encourage you to take action in any area of your life where you want to get better or you want to achieve something, but just chunk it out with one small task per day.
What a great way to end, Dustin. This has been fabulous. And folks, be sure you go to nobspresentations.com. Find out what this book is all about and the other things that are there. And Dustin, it has been fantastic. Thanks so much for being with us today.
It was a pleasure. I'm honored, and thanks for having me on the show, Dr. Gail.